guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kate, or I go by AlwaysMoreSims here on YouTube, and today we are doing part of a speed build. This house is, I called it Daimyo Inc. It is another house that will be for one of my, for every generation there's a genre, Generation 5 kids. This will be their house, and some of the names that I'm going to be using are Asian. So, and like the characters that they're named after are Asian. They're the characters in the game and the movie, or not the game, sorry, the book and the movie. Their avatars are like samurais or ninjas type characters. So I felt like Daimyo was rather fitting, and I actually called it Daimyo Inc. Because one, it's mostly a like black and white outside. But then if any of you have ever heard of Alice Madness Returns, it's a game that I played on my gaming channel, and it is a game that I am very fond of. I absolutely adore like creepy fairy tales. And let me tell you, Alice Madness Returns is very creepy. I was very devastated to hear that, because the creator for it, his name is American McGee, and Alice Madness Returns is technically the second game, but they were planning and designing what would be the third game. And then EA, who owns like I don't know exactly, but they own like the rights or something to the games. They said they didn't want to do it, and that means that like American McGee would have had to fight to get the name back, to possibly either do it himself or do it through a different publisher, or I don't even know, to be honest. I don't know all the official lingo. But American McGee basically said, he's like, I'm tired of fighting on it. I'm kind of over it at this point. So we unfortunately are not getting a third Alice game, which makes me so sad, especially because this third game, which was actually supposed to be a prequel, was looking amazing, and I was so excited. So excited. But anyways, one of the like worlds that you play through in Alice Madness Returns is inspired by, I believe it's like Japan is the actual location that it's inspired by, but please don't hold me to that. I'm not looking to offend anybody by my lack of knowledge. But one of the enemies that she fights is they're called Daimyo wasps, and I'm pretty sure Daimyo is they're like a lord. Like they own land. I don't 100% sure. I looked into it. I'm like, would it even make sense if I put Daimyo in the name of the house? But I was like, yeah, you know what, sure. And one of the other enemies in this area is called an ink wasp, and they're just like these really annoying little like things that basically are just there to distract you from the bigger enemies. I was like, ooh, Daimyo Ink, because the house is black and white. I'm gonna go with it. Sure, why not? Granted, it is not an Asian-inspired house. It is not an Asian style at all. It's very farmhouse. I realized that. But I was thinking more of the sim I intend to have live here, rather than the name fitting the style of the house. So this is only the shell of the house. I actually went kind of overboard on the outside. I don't really do a lot with the furnishing, with landscaping. I don't like to landscape. I don't like to do stuff on the outside of the house. I very rarely do a backyard. It's not my main priority. I don't enjoy doing it. I don't think my landscaping looks any good. So it's something I usually tend to avoid, and then I just focus my energy more on the inside of the house, especially because I usually save landscaping for the end. Because so it takes me roughly anywhere from an hour to like an hour 45 minutes, 2 hours to build a house, depending on the size and how detailed I get with it. However, sorry, I have been sick the last week, so if I talk too much, my throat gets dry and took a drink. Okay, anyways, lost my train of thought. Oh, but if I do landscaping first and then move inside, all in the same sitting, I find that like the inside of the house is normally lacking, or I'm forgetting something, or if I save the landscaping at the end, like for the end, then I go outside and it's very like, it's not very good. It's not very detailed. There's not a lot to it. I just kind of throw some things down, usually put a couple trees out, a couple bushes. I use like the same 4 plants. There's not a whole lot to it. So, like it just, I don't know. I did this like pool, and then there's like a, like there's, and you'll see when we get to the pool, but I cut out like this little area to put a hot tub, and there's like this humongous garden. So if you download this house, I hope your sim likes to garden, because I put this massive garden in the back. And I was doing all this stuff with terrain paint, and I mean, I'm really liking how it's turning out. Which then makes me nervous that now I've kind of set this like high expectation that the inside of the house needs to look good, and it probably, then it's like the inside of the house is just gonna flop. But I don't know. I think like it's a very typical style house for me. I feel like I tend to make a lot of farmhouse looking builds. I don't really like to go outside of my like comfort zone, and then at the same time I don't feel like I don't like using anything that isn't expansion pack or base game. Occasionally, like when I am building houses that are like for specific sims, sometimes I will allow myself to use store content, and occasionally I will use like the 3 tile custom content garage door, but I typically prefer not to. But where was I going with this? There was a reason I was saying all this, and now I don't remember what it was. I feel like, I mean, World Adventures, if you're looking to make like kind of a Chinese inspired home, there's some stuff, but I just feel like you're really lacking anything that isn't very Americanized building, like look styles. I don't know. I find it difficult to build something that I wouldn't just see here in America. I don't know. I just don't I don't feel like there's a lot of options for it, and sometimes that makes it even more difficult to go outside of my comfort zone. Like even if I wanted to, I don't feel like I have the tools to do it properly. And I know that there are people that have made like amazing like foreign inspired homes in The Sims 3. I've seen them, but I'm always like asking myself like, oh my god, how did they do that? What? Where'd you get all that stuff? And then I'm like, oh, how much of this is custom content? I don't like installing a lot of custom content because I don't like how bad it makes the game. Like, I have cast custom content, but you may have noticed that I don't have, it's the same stuff. At one point, I was going through kind of like a hair downloading spree, but it was all from like this one website, and they're all just like retextures. Like I don't really do much clothing, and it's just one of those things I don't really like. I feel I'm very picky with my custom content, because I don't think The Sims 3 has, like, with The Sims 4, there's the Maxis match or there's Alpha. And when I say Maxis match for The Sims 3, I don't know if it necessarily, like, is the same thing as Alpha or Maxis match in The Sims 4, but, like, I like it when it matches the style of the game, because I don't use shaders, I don't use, like, world retextures, I don't use any of that stuff. Like, the game graphics are what I use. And so when you put, like, super ultra realistic looking things in a very cartoony game, to me just kind of ruins the look of it, and it just doesn't look right. And I just feel like the textures of, like, the really realistic things just don't look right, and I just don't like it. So I prefer when the custom content matches. And, like, I guess the hairs are kind of, the hairs don't always match. Like, they don't always look Alpha or Maxis match or whatever you want to call it, but I'm so picky with the clothes, and I feel like that's how the, like, furniture can get. Like, I have a couple pieces of custom content furniture installed that, like, are installed through the launcher, and I can't tell you how many times I have tried to uninstall them, and it just never freaking works. They're always still in the game, even though, like, I get the message that pops up saying, like, so such and such content has been uninstalled, and it's still never like, I'm like, you did not uninstall, because it's still in the game. Like, it's really annoying, and I just don't like how it looks. And it's been one of those things that I'll, like, download with a house that I've downloaded. It'll come with something. I don't know. I'm very particular about it. And sorry, I need another drink before I spiral into a coughing fit. It's just kind of one of those things that when I'm making my houses, like, it's the reason why I don't use stuff packs either. Like, not everybody has the stuff packs. I feel like at this point, most people have, like, a good majority of this. If you play The Sims 3, you probably have a good majority of The Sims 3 expansion packs. But I don't like using store content. I don't like using stuff packs because not everybody has them. And, like, I don't know, with The Sims 4 on the gallery, at least you can see, like, what packs you need for the house. But I don't think I've ever downloaded anything off the Sims 3 Exchange, because when the Sims 3 Exchange was still, like, in use, I could never figure out how to get it to work. So I could never see what it needed, and then by the time that I actually figured out how to download custom content, I was like, I don't, like, a good, like, some sites, like, My Sims Realty, where I get, like, a lot of my custom content worlds, is really good about saying, like, what packs you need, or, like, packs that were used to make the world, but, like, it doesn't always do that anymore. Like, I know when I upload things through Mediafire, it does not tell you, hey, you need these, like, all these packs, and I don't limit myself on how many expansion packs I use in The Sims 3, again, kind of under the same thought process of, well, at this point, if you play The Sims 3, you probably have a good majority of the packs. But, like, with The Sims 4, because there are so many packs, and I don't build a lot in The Sims 4. We know this. I don't like building in The Sims 4. I'm not good at building in The Sims 4. I always, like, I'll get, like, a wild hair occasionally, like, I'm gonna build in The Sims 4, and then I never like what I build. I never like how it turns out. It normally doesn't function like it's supposed to. Like, yeah. But I normally try and limit myself on packs because there are just so many of them that I'm like, I don't want to use all these. And, you know, people be like, I can't download this. But yeah. Anyways, I will say when doing the landscape, and, like, all of this took me like an hour and a half, which is normally how long it takes me to do the house altogether. I did forget to add lights outdoors, so I will have to come back and do that. Like, put lights in the pool, lights in the landscaping. And yeah, the sim, again, if you download the house, you'll see what I end up naming this sim. I'm trying not to give it away, like what I'm going to name my kids. But I have it in the description of the house just so I know for myself, so I don't get things mixed up when I actually built this house in Barnacle Bay. I did not build Cinnamon Sugar in Barnacle Bay. I built it in like the world that I normally build in, which is called Rosewood Hills, which is a empty world from My Sims Realty. It doesn't have anything in it. But I built this house in Barnacle Bay because My Sims Realty didn't have the size lot I needed, but we're coming to an end. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye!